Hi, I am going to discuss this Html.Table m function in this video, and this is really useful function if you want to scrap data or pull some data from a specific website. So let me go into this definition first. So Html.Table, this is the syntax that you can specify HTML as any. So we can pull the HTML from a specific website, or you can specify the HTML file from your computer. Column name selector pairs, and this tags as a list. And the third optional options as nullable records. Look at this about section, return a table containing the results of running the specified CSS selector. So the important part in this section is that it runs CSS selectors against the provided HTML. An optional record parameter options may be provided to specify additional property. So for these options, we can only specify this row selector, record key field, and we can specify the row selector CSS as well. So the main point of this one is that it accepts CSS selector, and it runs CSS selector in that particular HTML and return the result. Now returns a table from a sample HTML text value, so you can test this out. You can text this out as well. Now I'm going to use this website, Wikipedia, list of largest companies in the United States by revenue. As this is a public website, so that's why I'm showing this for this video purpose. Now what we want to do, we want to extract a specific part of the data from this particular website. Maybe we can extract this table, okay, or we want to extract this hyperlink, that is this particular section showing that EN Wikipedia organization Wiki Walmart, or the URL for this one, and so on, okay. Or we can extract this one 6.7%. Let me try this. So I have a blank Excel workbook here. You can go into this data tab, get data from web. So that is from other source, from web, and can specify the URL. Now you can choose any level, connect that. Now you can see we have these tables. So that is this rank, name, industry, revenue, USD per million, revenue growth, employee, and other stuff. And look at this section, and that is specifically this table. Okay. So if you want only this table data, you don't need to extract any hyperlink, then we're done. You can just check this, and that's it. And list of largest private companies, I think that's another table in the below section. So that is this table. So if you want this table, then we are done as well. Next one is list of companies by profit. So I think we have that in this one, rank, industry, and profits. And we have suggested tables. I think that's basically these things. List of the largest companies and so on. And then HTML code, we have the HTML response of that particular website and display text. Okay. So jump to content, make content, and so on. Okay, so basically if we just want this, that okay, we just need this first table, that is this top table. Okay. Let's say it's list of the largest companies. Then we're done. You can say load, or if you want to transform some data, then you can do that as well. Now I am going to transform this, and I am going to extract the URL. Okay, so for this specific URL, and I'm going to show you how can we do that using this CSS selector and HTML.table. Now let's look at this generated code. You can see web.browser contents. So this is newly added m function that returns the browser view of that particular URL or HTML. So if you look at this section, browser contents, it's a URL and option is nullable record. Anyway, so this is the HTML, and then it's extracting this table, and this is the interesting part of this particular video, the main point of this particular video. Now look at this code. It says html.table. So this is the source, and this is saying that column 1 will be table.wikitables.sortable, and then colon nth child 9, and then we have a lot of other stuff. So this is the column name. This is the CSS selector for that particular column, and this is one list for one specific column. This is for another specific column, and this is the list of list, and this is the part of this column name selectors. So basically this is the second parameter, column name selector pairs as a list. So this is a list of list. The first item of the list will be the column name, second item will be the CSS selector, and option is nullable records, and that is this one, this option, that is the row selector, and it says that the row selector will be this. Now let me explain what this is particularly doing. So just copy this and copy this, go into this section and inspect. Now we'll get this HTML view, that is this entire HTML. I'm going to use Ctrl F and paste that. Now you can see that it's selecting this table.wikitable.sortable and child 9, and then we have some other stuff. Now it's selecting this particular item, right? This is that selection, that this is specific row, this tier, and this tier is inside of this t head. So basically this is selecting this table, this is specific table, and this is a CSS selector, and this is specifically saying that we need to select the table tag. Okay, and you can find more details on this CSS selector on this website, W3 School CSS selector. I would suggest you to go through this 4 or 5 blog post about this CSS selector, and you'll understand what this particular CSS selector is doing. So it's just saying that we need to find the table tag. So, but you can see that we may have lots of table in this particular HTML. Inside of that table, we want to find that wiki table as the class name. So now let me just grab this. Now you can see we have table, wiki table, and you can see we have 3 items. So that is this first table, and you can see the table and then class, that is the wiki table. If we go into the below section, table, class, wiki table again. We go and the next section, table, class, wiki table. So we don't want these 3 tables. We want the first one, right? So that is this one. So if you go up, then this is the second table, and if I go up, the first table. So that's why it's saying that, okay, go to this table.wiki table dot sortable. So dot sortable means that we want the table that has a class name sortable as well. Now this is also saying that we have 3 tables which has the same class signature, like table, and the class name is wiki table as well as sortable. So this is a multiple class properties, that one specific tag has a multiple class name, that is wiki table and sort table. So still we cannot find the third table. So now we're saying that, okay, the nth child, that's the 9. So let me just get rid of that part. Now you can see when I say nth child 9, this is saying that okay, take the ninth child. So if you go to this CSS selector, I think serial element, um, so that is this one, nth child. Select every p element that is the second child of its parent. Now, if you look at this section, this is saying nth child number is ninth, right? So that is table.wikitable.sortable. This is the parent element, and in that parent element, so the ninth children. And now you can see that we have only one specific table. Okay, so that is this specific table, right? Now you can get this without looking at that. Sometimes we don't get this automatically. So in that case, what we can do, we can just select this particular item, okay? And let's say we want the table part here. Now we can say, okay, copy and selector. So if we copy the selector, then we'll see that, sorry, that is MW context, sorry, content text, and div MW parser output table, and you can see the table ninth child 9, right? So that is this child 9. So we can use this CSS selector as well. So I'll suggest you to look at this CSS selector. I have a plan to record a video on this as well. So you may keep following me to get that video as well. Anyway, so we get that CSS selector here, and in that CSS selector, it's saying that in the ninth child shows all the element, in this ninth child. So that is specifically that first table, right? Just copy that, paste it here. So we get the ninth child, so that is the table element. And when we say in that table element, select everything, okay? So it's selecting the item of that, and now we're saying select only that tier text. Okay, so table row text. So that is, this is one row, this is another row, and so on. So you can see select all the tier tags in that particular table. Okay, so that's it, saying that select all the tier tag, and this is the row selector. So that means that it will look through each of these tier tag in this particular table. So this is the first row, this is the second row, this is the third row. So we get that particular row selector. So we get this first looping, that's this particular table and each row. Now the next step, that for this column 1, use this table.wikitable.sortable and child 9, and then after this, right? I think we just let me just keep only 2 item here so we can understand it better. So I'm going to select this and look at this extracted table. We get the rank, we get the name, right? So that is, look through each of these tier tag. So this is first tier tag. So in the first tier tag, get this first column, that is column 1, and the column on CSS selector is this one. So that is specifically this CSS selector, and we can ignore this part as well. So we don't need to specify that, okay, this table sort table in child 9 asterisk and tier, and that is because we already specified that in the row selector, right? Tier and child, sorry, this tier. So we don't need that part thing. We can just just a second. I think I just need the tier. So we find that as I need to specify the parent element. So let's see. The pairs doesn't like that. Okay, let's see. For each of this tier, we need to find that in this tier, uh, Yes. The column industry of the table is not found. So that we're looking at the node. But let me get rid of this section. So now you can see that I just need this tier and this. I think I just can get rid of that as well. Look at this. You can get that as well. But I like this one. That for each of those tier, find the first child. So that is child number 1. So that is specifically this row, and child the first, find the first child. So that is this one. So you can see that I can just modify this CSS selector and I'll get different property or different item from that particular thing. So I can just get rid of this and I can just say, okay, this tier tag, give me the second child. So that is this one. And you can see I exactly get that particular item, right? So column 1 and column 2. So you can specify any CSS selector you want in this specific position and you'll get the data accordingly. So now let's focus on that. Okay, so let's get the entire table. So I'm going to use the default option as they are picking up kind of correctly for the first table. So I'm going to use that get data from OAF. Wait a second. Get from OAF and let me copy this URL. Use that. Thing that is the space table and just load this. If we just need the data, if we don't want the hyperlink or any other data from that particular website, we can just load that and we're done. Right? So we get that specific data here. But you can modify the code to make it a little bit more flexible. Okay. Even we can generate the Alt F12 to open this Power Editor. We can make this code a little bit flexible to generate this list of list. That column 1 will be this, column 2 will be this, column 3 will be this, and so on. And we can make this code a little bit flexible. So anyway, so we get that basic idea that how this CSS selector works, right? Now let me show you how can we get this URL. Let's suppose if I look at this section, I can see that every row of this particular column has hyperlink, and I want to see those hyperlink for that specific row, right? So that's the name column. So that's the second column, and I am going to just duplicate this Power Query and duplicate this. I'm going to get rid of that as well. Now I'm going to keep the second column only. So this is column 2. There's one, and I'll show you earlier. Can get rid of that as well. Now we get that specific company name. Now I'm going to modify a little bit here that this is, we have already have the header, but company name. So we get this company name. Now I want to make this a little bit flexible to get a specific property, that is this hyperlink property. Now if I use this picker, click on this, and you can see that's the Ahref wiki walnut, right? I'm going to copy the selector to get that particular selector. Now you can see it's tr nth child 1, td nth child 2, and then that's the a. So let me just copy that, okay, and I'm going to use that here. Let's see what we get. So you get the null, so that's okay. Now we'll specify a third option here, that attributes, and we want the href attributes. Now let's see, tr and child 1, td and child 2, and then we get hyperlink element. And look, this Html.Table. Second example, if we look at this, each attributes href, right? So let's just do that. Okay. But still we are saying that it's a null. So something is kind of fishing here. So let me just do this. No, it's not picking up. That's weird. Let me see that again. That is this href. So td1, so that is this first element. So tr, second child, so that is this one. So it's saying tr and child 1. Why is it still 1? Look at this. You get that tr and child 2 asterisks and then a. So we get this wiki Walmart. So that's the second thing. Now if I look at next item, so that's this one. It's saying td, tr, the second element, and then a. That is the href. So let's look at that. Tr and child second element, and then children 2, a. So let me find. Again, copy, selector, tr and child 2, td and child 2 as well. That's picking up correctly. So we get this third one, but specifically you can see that this is specifically for the third child. So let me just modify this one and change it to like this, and we're done. You can see basically this row selector will kind of look through each of these, and in each of that particular selected row it will run that specific column selector. So that's we have the row. In that row, take the second child, find the A, and in that A, find the attribute href. And now you can see that we have all the URL for all of those companies. Now I can just say this company URL. I'm going to just copy paste this part. get the company name. And I don't want that. Let's see. So we get that company name as well. TD and child too. So when we don't specify that what attribute to select in the, like this section, it takes the text property of that specifically whatever we have in this section, action model. Actually, we could just ignore that get the TR, get the TD, and get the second child element, and so that's it. Okay. So we get these. So we are picking that second element, and that's why it's just picking this whatever we have after this href, and that's why we don't get this name header. So let me just change that. Select this, you can say th, and copy selector, th and child 2, tr slash child 2, right? We go into this section, we look at this, then just saying tr slash and child 1 for the second column, that is tr and child 2. So we can just use that. So let's just copy that and use that for the company name. We don't need to go into the TD level. We can be in the TR level. In the TR, and the second child, and give me the text property of that. That's the name, and that's the URL, right? So that's it. We can see that we get the name, company name, and then their URL. Now, basically, I think that's without look at this section, it's saying that HTTP EN, so we just go to that particular website. So I think we just need this prefix. So we can just say, okay, promote header, first row as a header, and now we can say add prefix. I think there is some add prefix, specify that, and we're done. We get that. Oh, sorry. Instead of transforming it, just added a column. So transform, format, add prefix, and we're done. So we get the URL as well. I can change the name URL and load this. So it will take some time to load that. Now you can see we have those URL. So let me just copy paste on and test it out. United Health Group, you can see we are in that particular page now. So that's how it's easy to get a specific property from a specific table, which was not possible in earlier version when we don't have this Html.Table section. Let me show you some more demo, and I'll split this into a second video for the demo purpose. So let me show you some else things. So let's see if we can get whatever we have in this section. Now you can see it's saying increase or decrease, right? These are basically the number, so we don't know if it's increase or decrease, right? So let's see if we want to get that increase or decrease text. So it's saying that this is an image tag, right? And alternative is increase, and there is a source for that particular image, you know. And let's suppose we want to get that, let's say alternative part, okay? So let's see, copy selector, Control F, Control V. Now we can see that, so table, we don't need that, giant line, we don't need t body, tr, and giant one. So we just need up to this. We don't need this. We just need tr, then child 1, td, and child 5, is then child 1, is then image. So let's try to get that image alternative property. So I'm going to duplicate this one. Now, extracted HTML table. Let's say I want to add another column. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this one, paste that one, and value right, let's suppose. And I have that, just this one. Let's see, we'll just try that. I don't need to do that. I need that attributes, but in alt text, so that is image alt. Yeah, so I need that alt. Get rid of this. So it's saying now. So let's look at the CSS selector again. So we get up to the tier, and in this value type, we're saying in this tier, select the first child, tier and child 1. Oh, sorry, I don't need. Um, let's see. That's it. Look at this. So we are just saying that in that specific tier, go to this fifth child of this particular TD and select the span. In that span, select the image, and in that image, find the alt tag. So we get that this is a increase. Okay, and based on the text, we can also use some conditional formatting after getting the data from Power Query in the table, and we can use some conditional formatting to get this up and down arrow as well. Or let's suppose we want different things in this image. Let's see what we have in the attributes. Image, so attributes. So source, we have the source. So let's suppose if we just want the source, we can just change in this section that we need the source instead of our text. Source src, and now you can see we have the relative URL of that particular source. We can specify we want the decoding, we can get the width, we can get the height, we can get the even class name, we can even get this src set, data file width, data file height, anything you want. So you can see that it's super easy to get these specific things that was quite hard to retrieve, right? So this is how we can extract data, and that is not easily available using just get data from web and then select the table. Okay, we can use CSS selector, and it's super powerful. You can extract and I think anything using a CSS selector. Let me give you another example. Okay, so that is this one. It will give me that increase or decrease. We can modify after getting the data whatever we want, that what we want to do with this increase or decrease and other. These are the source. Okay, now I'm going to show you one more website. Let's suppose this is a product item and I want to get this review. That's 5-star review or something like that. Get me the URL to the data tab, other source, from where, give the URL, connect it, and let me get the CSS selected for that element. So is that is this one. Select this and that. Let's see. So that is this ratings. Copy selector. It's taking a little bit longer to pull the data, but let's see if we get the correct CSS selector or not. So it's selecting this entire part up to the review. Let's see if we can just get that stars. Diff ratings. What is that? So that is this diff rating. And let's look at that. It is this one. So this is the first star, second star, third star, fourth star, fifth star. Review text, that's to review. Now I think we need something that is less 5-star. But anyway, we can get that that's the span. Default, that's the span. Default. So first stars. Okay. Okay, let's select that CSS selector. We get the fourth child, span, and child 4. Right. Let's see. Play. I am going to pick anything. Then I'm going to transform that. So that is this. I am going to remove kind of everything actually. So let's get rid of that. Close selector. Get rid of that. Fill selector. Set column selector. Get rid of that. And now we use that. Let's see what it does. This table is empty. And that is this. specific selector. Let's see. If rating. Let's see. Row select of that match expected pattern. Let's see. So we don't need this to be working. We just need span and side for. Yeah, span. And we don't have any text. We have that. Okay, so how can we say how many children we have? So the settings, and that setting is here is span class. So we want to find how many items we have in this specific class structure. Let's see. Then we'll select I think the settings level plus settings. Yeah. Span and child one. The before. Let's see. Now is a selector. The before seed element. So insert some content before the element. So we can use that CSS selector and plus the problem is that we don't have any text or anything actually at that element. But, this is interesting. So this we have before something else. Ah, but look at this. Rating value content 5, review count. So we can get the how many ratings from this section. So use that instead of asterisk. So that is this is specific element. So div rating with this specific item. Div rating, right? So div rating. What is this? Sorry. Here, deep rating. Meta and child self and deep ratings. Showing only one selected items as if positive rating. Yeah, plus deep rating. And duplicate this. I'm going to use the exact species that we have here as interesting item property. Oh, we need the content of that. So age, attribute use that will have content. Second, content settings value. Let's see. Into that here. Let's click. This table is empty. Why it's empty? Meta and child self and meta and child self and see we get this rating. It has HTML. So get that specific HTML and JSON or anything. Doesn't matter actually. Okay, so we get that meta tags. We have two meta tags. Item property, rating value, content is 5. Review count. So if rating meta child 7. I don't understand. If rating 7. not right. Yes, selector. No, selecting two items. One is this, another one is this. So it's selecting two items properly. Now let's see if I just type div wrapping minus static and select all of this actually. So what we can do is the meta. Now it's linked to two items. Give us meta, two item, use meta, and second, let's see the HTML. Okay, just copy that HTML. You save this HTML file. So edit the HTML, Control F, Control V, Control F, and let's see what is that. This selector that is body left. Now let's red. Oh, look at that. It's not showing me, but I can actually. Oh, that's why I cannot find anything. Okay, so let's see if I put the URL correctly or not. Blue mouse, that's correct. That sounds correct. But why this is different? Let's press this again. So sometimes we need to check if the HTML is correct or not. So I think they sent a different HTML response when I'm calling this from Power Page. And that's really weird. I think I get the correct response this time. Let me try. Okay, we go to this section. It is HTML, Control A, Control V, and Control F. Fine. No, still not. This is different, and this is definitely weird. Oh, no. I've received that HTML correctly. but thing it's just set to review. So to review. Look at this. To review. So it's removed that metadata. Now we just have this to review and review link. We don't have, oh, look at this, we have that. Meta, item properties, rating value. Okay. So metadata is not viewable. We cannot see the text. Review found, we can see the review found metadata and item properties, that's the rating value of the selector. Okay, so metadata child stuff. I can use that in the CSS selector. No, this is weird. Look at this. I get that correctly. Ah, so it's really hard to get the CSS correctly using this row select another thing. Let's see if I just get rid of the row selector. That's better. So we can get that rating star using this CSS selector as well. This is the attributes, this content. So that's it. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.